Crumbling tarmac causes suspension of airport bridges. Vendor charged for disturbing the peace. State asset recovery sues Queens Atlantic for more than $2 billion. In the region, Cubans warn of imminent severe fuel crisis, and internationally, vaccine challenges, compulsory immunization in Malaysia. Britain and welcome to this edition of Headline News Update. I am Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. The State Recovery Assets Agency, SARA, is challenging Winston Brassington over his alleged illegal leasing and then the sale of the Sonata Textile Complex to Queens Atlantic Incorporated. Brassington was National Industrial and Commercial Investment Limited Chief Executive Officer under the PPP at the time of the sale. SARA is seeking to recover in excess of $2 billion Guyana dollars that belong to the people of Guyana. This includes compound interest at 6.25% per annum over 9 years calculated. Queens Atlantic Incorporated is owned by Bobby Ramroop, who is believed to be the best friend of opposition leader Barrett Jackpeo. Justice Diana Insinali will hear the case on September 19th. There is no law against cursing someone, but you can't point your fingers in their face. Here is Esther Sobers.
As a citizen or residing resident of Guyana, it is always important to know the laws of the country whilst knowing your rights. On September 11th, it was reported that 28-year-old Olchi Clark, a vendor, was remanded to prison for calling another vendor a crass. However, the laws of the country doesn't state that someone can be fined and charged for calling another person a false name. Though it's not an offense to call someone a false name, it's, however, a criminal offense to cause injury to growing things according to the laws of Guyana, Chapter 801, says it's an offense to cause injury to trees growing in parks and elsewhere. However, there is a charge for a breach of the peace, which deals mostly with accompanying offensive actions coupled with name-calling. Many thought it was a hard judgment to remand the vendor for the name-calling the woman a crass. A closer observation of the charge indicated that Clark breached the peace on the day in question. It was reported that the victim was at a shop when she was approached by the defendant, who pointed her fingers in her face, along with providing the court with false information about her address. To gain a professional insight of the charge, Headline News spoke to attorney-at-law Melville Duke of Duke Attorney Law Firm.
The nature of the charge of breach of the peace consists of the actions of the individual or the defendant to demonstrate that the person have taken certain steps to disturb the peace. In the case of an individual who calls someone a name, that in and of itself would not be the essence or the element to get to the principal charge. The actions in totality of the circumstances, the action of the person, calling a name coupled with the individual pointing his or her finger in the face of another person would be able to sustain a charge of breach of the peace.
Clark was denied bail and remanded to prison until September 25th. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. Coming up after the break, new airport passenger bridge is out of commission and new ambassadors accepted in Guyana.
Styles. Simply different. be nice if we didn't have so much waste to dispose of in the landfill. Well, composting can help us reduce the waste we dispose of by turning our organic waste into compost, which can be used to improve the quality of our soil.
Or fallen leaves and cut grass and put this in a composting bin or pile. Compost can help your garden grow healthy plants
while reducing your volume of waste. It's a really good way to keep our communities clean and healthy.
So, let's all start composting our waste.
Find out how easy it is. Call us on 226-2189 or 227-8429 or visit our website moc.gov.gy. A message from the Ministry of Communities in collaboration with the Inter-American Development Bank.
Welcome to Kissoon's Furniture. Find everything you need for your home and more under one roof in our newly decorated showroom. Our locally crafted furniture has been perfected over the last 60 years. From our hands to your home, we also bring to you our newly introduced lines of imported furniture and sleep center, where you can find a wide range of beds and mattresses. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 60 years.
Tell us more.
Yesterday, the Public Infrastructure Ministry announced that all 4 of the newly built and installed boarding bridges at the Chedijagan International Airport will be temporarily suspended. This suspension is to facilitate the continuation of expansion works at the airport. According to the press release, the suspension of the boarding bridges, which were put in place in June 29, 2019, is scheduled, and there are no issues with the normal functioning of the bridges themselves. However, Channel 2 Headline News understands that the decision to suspend the usage of the bridges was taken because the part of the tarmac where the bridges operate is crumbling and has to be immediately repaired. The Chinese loan of $150 million was secured by the PPP government, and the China Harbor Engineering Company was contracted to do the work. The coalition government has struggled with the execution of the major works, even amending and downscaling the work from a complete and expanded rebuilding of the airport to a renovation of the facility with much less of the amenities as proposed in the initial scope of works. The ministry sincerely apologizes for this temporary inconvenience, and they said that they would like to assure you that works will be done within the shortest possible time. For Channel 2 Headline News, Wendell Jeffrey.
Thanks, Wendell. When we return, Cubans warn of imminent severe fuel crisis and vaccination challenges compulsory immunization in Malaysia.
Are you kidding me? Really? So wrong. That is not what we were taught at the Green Generation Guyana camp.
Is this the correct way to do it? Drivers, you have 2 options that you can use. First, you can temporarily put your empty plastic bottles in the trunk of your vehicle or on the ground on the passenger side next to you. Or secondly, place them in the nearest garbage from the Ministry of Communities Green Generation Guyana Sanitation Program. For more information, please contact us on 592-227-2605, or you may find us on the World Wide Web at www.moc.gov.gy.
Welcome to Kissoon's Furniture. Find everything you need for your home and more under one roof in our newly decorated showroom. Our locally crafted furniture has been perfected over the last 60 years. From our hands to your home. We also bring to you our newly introduced lines of imported furniture and sleep center, where you can find a wide range of beds and mattresses. Kissoon's Furniture, furnishing homes for over 60 years.
Styles. Simply different.
Welcome back. In the region, Cuban President Miguel Diaz-Canel has warned the country to expect problems with fuel supplies in the coming weeks. Cuba's distribution of diesel has been badly affected by U.S. sanctions against Venezuela, Cuba's principal oil supplier. He said it may be likely that there would be blackouts next week, suggesting that people should work from home. Mr. Diaz-Canel said Cuba is in a better position than in the 1990s, the year of extreme austerity and blackouts known as the special period. The president added that possible blackouts people arriving at the U.S. southern border from seeking protection if they fail to do so in a country they pass through en route. Legal challenges continue, but the ruling means for now it can be enforced nationwide. The plan will affect tens of thousands of Central American migrants who travel north, often on foot, through Mexico. There are questions over whether Mexico and Guatemala can cope with a surge in asylum claimants. It is also unclear if other countries will cooperate with what amounts to be a unilateral U.S. policy. And finally, scientists and doctors and political leaders are meeting in Brussels at a global vaccination summit. There's added urgency to discuss the matter as countries around the world face outbreaks of preventable diseases due to lack of adequate vaccination. Al Jazeera reports.
This is a government clinic in Malaysia, where vaccinations are given free for 12 preventable major childhood diseases, including measles, diphtheria and polio. Immunization coverage has reached 95%, but the program isn't mandatory. And Muhammad Noor bin Zakaria, a father of two, has chosen not to vaccinate his children.
I do believe that measles.
I do believe the measles is not a deadly disease, because if we look at the older generation, how did they deal with it? Somehow, we're treating all these diseases that have existed for a long time as something that's so deadly. And I believe that with good sanitation, good hygiene, good nutrition and existing information, you can treat measles, at least for my child. That's my personal stand, but I don't go around telling parents not to vaccinate their kids.
Reasons cited by other parents for not vaccinating include concerns about possible adverse side effects and religious grounds. This debate is taking place not only in Malaysia, but globally. The World Health Organization has blamed vaccine misinformation as a major threat to global health, saying it could reverse progress made in tackling preventable diseases. One example is measles. Provisional data from the WHO indicates there have been more measles cases reported worldwide in the first half of this year than in any year since 2006.
The rise in measles cases is driven by poverty in some places, but in more developed countries it's due to a growing wave of people who refuse immunization for their children. In Malaysia, the health ministry says the number of anti-vaxxers, as they're known, is small, but the government is considering a proposal to make certain vaccinations compulsory for children.
We all agree that our children must not be exposed to such unnecessary risks, especially when there is vaccination available and it's free for the children in Malaysia.
Amir Arif Azmi and his wife are expecting their first child next month, and they've decided they'll follow the national immunization schedule.
Not just about protecting your child, it's about protecting others as well, because if we can ensure that every child who can be vaccinated, we might prevent all these diseases from spreading.
He says to deny that to any child would be irresponsible. Florence Louis, Al Jazeera, Kuala Lumpur.
Here's your 3-day weather forecast. That is all for this edition of Channel 2 Headline News Update. Tune in tomorrow at 6 for another episode. Be sure to like and follow us on Facebook and YouTube, or you can visit our website at headlinenewsguyana.com for more news. Until then, take care.